Okay, screen's a little frozen, so hopefully you guys can see me. I am so excited for our first guest speaker for today for our 7 days of inspiration. I know this is day 7. So today we have our guest speaker is Laurie Plyler. She is a future national sales director, elite executive senior sales director. Mouthful. But I am so excited to be hearing from you today. She's someone who's not in our national area, and that's something I was really looking forward to because it's someone outside of our circle, someone different, someone that we can really grow and learn from. And so I am just going to let Rebecca take the floor on getting things started, but I will give my number. So if you have questions at the end, please pick her brain, ask her questions. Do not let this time pass without hearing from her and the things that you might want to know. So my number is 909-851-5739. And yeah, don't be the turkey this holiday season. Be the inspiration story around the table.
Yay, awesome, Megan. Thank you for kicking us off today. So Laurie has been somebody who's been in my life since the beginning of my Mary Kay business. I've always heard the name Laurie Plyler, and welcome to the stage, Laurie Plyler, and I'm just like, who is this chick? But fast forward a couple years, and I'm just so excited that we get to do not only life together, but I'm so excited to watch you finish your national area. What a huge honor to have you on our call today, because I know that you are busy, working like rabid dog style for getting everything done. So just a little bit of background behind Laurie before I officially introduce her with her accolades. Laurie is a part of our family. So she's not in our technical love area, but she's a part of our Harris family. And so she is with oh my gosh, Julie Krebsbach, totally blanking. Julie Krebsbach, who was my national when I first started my business all of 5 years ago. And so isn't that so cool that not only are we family, but that we get to watch you finish your national area, which most consultants don't get to do in their lifetime with Mary Kay. There's only 200 national sales directors in the company. And Laurie is about to be 201. So yay, Laurie, we're excited for you. Okay, to officially introduce Laurie for this afternoon, Laurie started her Mary Kay business in September of 2005 as a senior in college at 22 years old. At that time, she was finishing college, completing her internship from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., working full-time from 4 to 4. Wow, that's awful. Planning and paying for a wedding and buying her first home with her husband, Josh. She earned her first car and debuted as a sales director in February of 2008, replacing her full-time income and leaving her corporate job in March of 2008. Since then, she's earned 5 free cars, including 3 pink Cadillacs. In her first year as a director, her unit was recognized as a Fab 50s and Honor Society unit and was recognized as the #3 unit in her entire new director's debuting class. She is a star consultant every quarter, earning her star status for the past 39 quarters. You're creeping up on that diamond bar pin, which is so fun. Completed the Court of Sale 3 times, Court of Sharing 3 times, double star twice, and triple star twice. She's earned over 18 carats of diamonds in her Mary Kay business thus far. She's completed 5 years of unit clubs, her highest being the 650,000 unit club, taking her husband on the top director trip to London this past year. Laurie thanks Mary Kay for the opportunity to always put her family first in her life while still earning an executive income. Thanks to Mary Kay, her husband Josh was able to retire from the corporate grind at 31 years old. Can you guys imagine retiring your husbands when they're 31? I'm wondering what he does with his time. I'm sure you guys have him, you keep him busy, Laurie. And they have lived fully self-employed for nearly 3 years. Her highest monthly commission from Mary Kay is over $18,000, and her unit is currently ranked #2 in the entire state of South Carolina. Her passion is to empower other women to know that they can do it too, and her sole focus is leading her team into their calling to be the next national area to debut in Mary Kay. So let's welcome the beautiful Laurie Plyler.
Yay! Oh my goodness, it's so fun, I think, hearing those accolades, and every time I do that I feel like I kind of reflect on how far we've come and on our journey, and it's so crazy to think that 10 years have gone by in Mary Kay. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you to Rebecca and Megan for having me on. You guys are amazing, and seriously, you guys, if you're in one of their units, like pinch yourself, and next time you see them, give them a huge hug, because these women are some of the most brilliant-minded, creative, big-thinking, fearless women that I know. And Rebecca in particular, I feel like we have grown up together a little bit in Mary Kay, and even though we live on opposite ends of the country, I just love getting to be a part of her life, and she is such an example of tenacity, and I love that about you. So thank you guys so much for having me on, and I'm just so excited to share with you guys a little bit of my personal journey. I have to say, I absolutely love the name of this Google Hangout series, Don't Be the Turkey. It's so true, right? Like, I think sometimes when we start our Mary Kay business, we're like, I'm doing this thing, and then people are like, yeah, we'll see. And it's like people are kind of sometimes waiting for us to prove it, that we're serious about our business, that we're really doing what we said we're going to do. And you know, sometimes whether it's Mary Kay or other things in our lives, right? Like working out, how often have we said, oh, I'm going to work out and get in shape, and we tell everyone, and then they're like, oh, okay. You know, it's those moments of like putting things out there and then not following through, like telling everyone about your goal and then not doing it. That's what makes you feel like the turkey, right? Like over and over again. And so I love that title, because it's so true that I love in this business that we get to be in control every single day, and you get to decide what happens in your business. You really get to decide what happens based on your own personal activity and consistency in your business. And I do want to say, first of all, if you're on this Hangout today, whether you've been in the business for 10 years like me, or you've been in for a day, just know, first of all, you ordered that starter kit for a reason. I've not met a person yet who ordered their starter kit like on accident and was like, oh, it was just happened. I just tripped and bought a starter kit. You know, like it doesn't happen like that. And so I know that no matter whether right now you're feeling frustrated, excited, discouraged, questioning your direction, wherever you are, you bought that starter kit because there was a feeling of hope inside you for something more in your life than what you have right now. And chances are you're on this Hangout today for something of a very similar reason, that you feel like you want more. Maybe there's a feeling in your gut that you know you're not giving it your all, and you know you can do better, or maybe you're just hungry for knowledge, or your business represents a hope and a future that didn't feel available before. Whatever the reason is, I just want to encourage you to embrace that you're here for a reason. And I heard somebody say once, and it's so, so true, that when God puts a dream in your heart and a calling on your life, He doesn't change His mind. And sometimes I meet people that are like, oh, yeah, well, God called me to Mary Kay, and this, you know, I feel like He's opening up doors and opportunity for this to do X, Y, and Z in my life. And then we get like 3 months in, and they're like, you know what, I think God might have changed His mind. I think now He's telling me to quit and that I should go try something else. And our God is omnipotent and infinite and all-knowing, and I know for a fact that He does not change His mind. He's not an indecisive God. So chances are, if you feel like your dreams in your heart meshed with Mary Kay, and this is a tool for you to change your life, or you feel like windows of opportunity opened and you felt guided into this business like pretty much everybody is, then you're here on purpose. And when you feel those feelings of like, maybe God's telling me to quit, maybe God's telling me to go in a different direction, know that that's your own fear and your own negative self-talk trying to take over. And I just want to encourage you to embrace that and just work anyways, because you know, the closer you get to your calling in life and where God wants you to be, the stronger the adversity is going to be, the more the enemy is going to try to stop you. And guess what? The enemy can't physically harm you, but he gets to play with your mind and your mindset. And here's what's tricky about our business is that success happens in our mind first. And so that is the battleground of this business and really of life. And so I want to encourage you to just choose every day to build yourself up in your mindset. Be prepared for adversity mentally. Be prepared for those thoughts to come, and be prepared to stay focused on why you're doing what you're doing and why you bought that starter kit and what this business represents to you, because there is a beautiful gift and tons of blessings waiting for you on the other side when you step forward in faith towards where you know you're being called. So anyways, that's just a side note that was on my heart for a minute there. But I just want to say, first of all, I know I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my personal journey today, and maybe what I just said is just a reflection of my personal journey. Maybe that's why I felt moved to share it. But, you know, I know you heard Rebecca say that I've been with Mary Kay for like 10 years, which is that feels like such a long time when you say it, but it doesn't feel like 10 years. I look back and I'm like, didn't I just get my starter kit last year? So I love that this business is so much fun, and that, you know, you get to be in Mary Kay for forever, and it doesn't feel like forever. And so, but I want to share, I don't know if you guys noticed when you heard the accolades, that I started my business in 2005 and became a director and earned my first car in February of 2008, so a few years later. And so I love to point that out, because I think it's really important that every single person here embraces your own journey and embraces that you get to go at your own pace, and, you know, stop comparing yourself left and right to who's doing what and whatever's happening. You know, your journey is yours for a reason, and I share that because I know sometimes it can be intimidating, or maybe just discouraging or distracting, when maybe you've been in your business for a little while and you're figuring things out, and, you know, you're moving along and you have your goals, and then like someone else comes into Mary Kay, like they ordered their starter kit in October and then they sneezed and they earned a pink Cadillac, and you're like, I'm trying to get my red jacket. What in the world? And so I just want you to know that you don't have to be that. Like, that is awesome. Some people, that is their strength, is moving very fast, and that's what they're called to in Mary Kay for other reasons that God has planned in their life. But if you've been in the business for a little while and you haven't reached your goals yet, it doesn't mean that those goals are not meant to happen for you. It just means that you're on a different journey, and now is the time for you to maybe self-evaluate and decide, what do I want to go after right now this month? What is realistic for me in my life right now, and what am I willing to do the work to go after? And I find that truly, anytime in my business that I've really hit big goals and reached big things, it was the times that I stopped looking from side to side. I didn't care who was doing what. I didn't care what other people's ideas were, like what their flyers were and what new fun idea that they had. I just trusted my gut and went to work. And you know what, when you trust your gut and go to work, you don't have time to look side to side and think about what everybody else is doing and get distracted, because you're busy doing work. And that's what I love, is this business is so simple. It is book parties, hold parties, share this business opportunity, and do it over again. That's what it is. And so, you know, unless it is your sales director calling you saying, hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z different, then don't change anything. One thing I love is that you get your director who gets to be your business mentor in this business, and she's been where you are. And we're never going to tell you to go in a direction that wouldn't grow you. So, you know, if she tells you, hey, do X, Y, and Z, and you're going to get that, then do X, Y, and Z, because you're going to get that. And who cares what else whatever anybody else is doing. So anyways, like you guys heard, I started my business in when I was in college, and yes, that was really my schedule. That's crazy. I know. It's like I ate ramen noodles and Red Bull, and I didn't sleep. I had no money. Like, my life was so full when I got bribed to hear about Mary Kay. Yeah, by the way, I got bribed with a free lip gloss to hear about Mary Kay. And it was a girl in one of my study groups. She was a Mary Kay consultant, and basically I was like, work, school, work, school, work, school. Like, that was my life. And in this study group, she kept being like, you need to hear about Mary Kay. And it was basically one day we were walking out of our study group, walking to our cars in the parking lot, which, by the way, I drove a very glamorous Dodge Neon. Get excited. Let me just tell you, if you've never driven a Dodge Neon, like, thank your lucky stars. But if you have, then you feel me, because let me tell you, that car, so I live in the East Coast and it rains a lot here, and so when it would rain, water somehow, I don't even to this day know how it happened, but water would like leak into the floorboard somehow, and so then you'd like hit the brakes and water would slosh up on your feet. Yes, that was my car. I know. And so anyways, so you can come from anywhere in Mary Kay and change your life if you want to, if you're willing to do the work. So this girl, but I drove that car because it was free. So you know how that goes. It was free. My mom bought it for me back when I was younger, and I was going to drive that thing till the wheels fell off. So my friend yells across the parking lot, oh, hey, by the way, when you're driving to work, I'm going to call you, and my director's going to tell you about Mary Kay. I'll give you a free lip gloss. And honestly, I just feel like I couldn't tell her no. I was too nice. I was like, well, okay. And I was like, dang it. Okay, I got to listen to the stuff about Mary Kay now. And so I'm driving to work, 30-minute commute from where I went to school to my job, and was on the phone, listening to this lady tell me about Mary Kay. And, you know, obviously I knew she wasn't going to tell me bad things about Mary Kay. right? Like I knew, okay, this lady's gonna tell me some good stuff about why she loves what she does. Good for her. And really and truly, the number one reason why I started Mary Kay was the cash money. I needed money, and she talked about money, and I'll never forget her talking about how she averaged about $10,000 a month with her Mary Kay business. And you know, she continued on. We talked about other things, and I did not think that that was possible for me. I was like, oh wow, good for her. Wow, she makes a lot of money. But the more I got to know her, I was like, oh, she seems normal. Like she seems like she doesn't have any magical skills. So I just figured, okay, if this lady can make $10,000 a month, then maybe I can make a couple hundred, and that would make my life easier. And that's really what inspired me to get started with Mary Kay. I never started Mary Kay with the intent of it being my career. I really just piddled around when I first started this business. So if you're a piddler, there's hope for you, because I piddled for quite a while in Mary Kay. I just don't think I knew what I wanted yet, and I didn't believe really that it could happen for me. I was like, these ladies are so awesome, but you know, that doesn't happen for normal people, these dream lives. And so I'm probably going to have to work my butt off, and good for these people that get to have these dream lives. And so anyways, I graduated college 3 months after I started my Mary Kay business, went right into the corporate world. Like I got a job immediately out of college, great salary, like big girl job, 401k, you know, all that sort of stuff. And I was just excited to climb the corporate ladder. Like I was going to conquer the world. I wanted to be that girl with like a briefcase doing presentations and like rocking it out. And if you've ever, you know, worked in most typical corporate jobs, you know that that picture I had is not exactly what actually goes on. I think things get kind of glamorized when you're in college. Like you go to school for a degree and they make it sound so amazing. And so you graduate college and there's all this like, you got this picture of what you're going to do, and there's all this like glitter and sparkle on it. And you're like, oh, I'm so excited. And then, you know, it was like probably 3 or 4 months into that corporate job. And it's kind of like, you know, that picture you have, the glitter starts to fall off, you know? Like I remember having a moment really 3 or 4 months in, which I was like, this is a bad sign, that I was already saying, like, is this it? Like I remember just feeling 22 years old. I just got engaged. So me and my husband were planning our wedding. Like there's so much excitement going on. We bought a house and I had so much ambition, and I'm a really hard worker, and I wanted to like make a dream life. And I remember looking around and just feeling like there has got to be more than this. If you've ever had that feeling of like, it was like I went to work on Monday, like, you know, it's like punching a clock, you know, go to work, go home, go to bed, go to work, go home, go to bed, you know, count on the days, and maybe I can have a day and a half of excitement once a week, you know. And I just felt in my gut that there was more out there, and I don't think I knew that I was called to more at that point in my life, but that's really what it was. I felt a pull that there was something more that needed to be happening in my life, and I couldn't imagine. I remember looking at all our bills one day, like student loans, credit cards, wedding, like all that stuff, and then looking at our income, salary, so it stays the same all the time no matter what, and just being like this is it. There's no way out. There's no way to create more money. There's no way to create a new situation. You know, maybe in 10 years I can get a dream life. And, you know, every day is not promised. And so I didn't want to risk that and wait 10 years, maybe, to get to have my dream life. And anyways, if you're that person that you feel a pull, maybe you're like not sure what to call it, or you're not sure what it feels like, or you're not sure why you're so like eager to try new things, chances are you may have an entrepreneurial burn in your belly. And if that is you, I mean, it's very likely that it's you, because you bought a Mary Kay starter kit. And people that are not entrepreneurs don't normally buy Mary Kay starter kits. But I just know that I couldn't identify it at that time, but I'm so grateful that I chose to say, what is this feeling? How can I figure out if there's more out there? And you know, really at that time, that's when I decided to see what Mary Kay really could do, because I saw all these people in Mary Kay that seemed to be having these amazing lives, and they were so happy and like had all this freedom. They could go eat ice cream on Wednesday if they wanted, and I just thought, I can't imagine how that's possible, but maybe it is, so let me try it. And so if that's you, just trust that, you know. If you're like the skeptic like me, that you're like, I don't know how that's possible for people, but let me see if it is, go ahead and see, because you're either going to like prove it to yourself that you're not willing to do the work, or you're going to prove it to yourself that you do have what it takes to make your life the most amazing life ever. And so that's what I decided to do in Mary Kay. I had a 60-hour corporate work week at that time. And I knew I couldn't do it forever. So I said, I've got to see if this can work, if this can be something else. I think at the same time, someone had handed me like a real estate book. Like I was kind of like thinking like, what else can I do? And anyways, my husband, by the way, he worked at night. He worked in an industrial job. So he worked 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. And so I basically decided that I was willing to put in 2 days a week to my Mary Kay business consistently. And I will tell you, if there is any strength that I have, is that I am queen of consistency and bounce back ability. And those two things I feel like will serve you so well in your business, because it's not about blitzing for 1 week and just like mayhem of activity for 10 days. It's about what can you really do sustainably over time. That's what's really going to create your future. And so anyways, I decided to put 2 days a week into my Mary Kay business, and that was Tuesday nights and Saturdays. And those 2 days, I committed to that for 6 months. And in those 6 months, I'll never forget, it was this time of year. It was actually from like July, August time, and then I became a director that end of January. So that period of time right there, the holiday season. I love the season for selling and for team building because number one, everyone needs to shop. Why would they not shop with you instead of the mall? And number two, everyone needs extra money for the holidays. Why not join your team? Like, best time of year for selling and team building. And so that's what I did. Is I did Tuesday nights and Saturdays for 6 months. And on February 1st, I had replaced my $50,000 corporate salary. I earned my first free car, which is what is now the black Chevy Equinox. And I was like, peace out to that corporate job. I was so excited to quit and be self-employed, and everything didn't magically just and then I'm fabulous and everything was great, like I replaced my income, was so excited to leave the corporate world, but honestly I had no idea how to be an entrepreneur, truly be self-employed. So then I left the corporate job and I was like, cool, I don't have to work as much, I can get up whenever I want. Like I kind of just like, it was like I replaced my income, but I wasn't really necessarily trying to increase it or knew how to increase it at that time. I just was like, yay, I'm going to work 25 hours a week with Mary Kay, make the same amount of money, and see what's what. And so then I kind of piddled around there. So see, you can choose not to piddle or piddle, but I promise if you just like get to work, it's so much more fun. So because when you're piddling, things don't always work out, like things don't always come together how you want it to be. So action really will cure all your frustration if you just get to work. But anyway, so I built a sustainable business. I had like a medium-sized unit of women I got to work with. I was driving a free car, replaced my income, all of that. And I'll tell you the moment that I decided that Mary Kay was what I was going to do for my life and when I was going to build my life on this company. And it was when Mary Kay really proved who they are and why it matters to be a part of Mary Kay rather than anything else out there, because there's truly not any other opportunity in the world that is like Mary Kay. Ever. Anywhere. You will not find it. I promise you. So anyways, it was a time in my life. I was full-time director. To make a long story short, there was a lot of health issues that came up in my family. So my backstory, when I was 16, my dad actually passed away. When I was 9, he had had a massive heart attack that caused severe brain injury, and basically he was disabled from when I was 9 to 16. And during that time, my mom was totally not present as a mom because she was so overwhelmed and distracted with this situation going on with him. So I grew up in this very like chaotic, you have to grow up really fast sort of environment. Like I raised myself basically after 9. And so, and I had a lot of loss issues because of that, a lot of like fear of loss, commitment issues, like, which is probably why I piddled, side note, for a little while. But anyway, so all that went on. I had all this deep-rooted like stuff in my life that I didn't know how to deal with. So then fast forward back to present moment, I'm in Mary Kay, full-time career. Right at the time I was in DIQ, and it was like that fall, like September, October, I was in DIQ getting ready to replace my full-time income. We found out that my husband's dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And if you can imagine, that not only brings up so many emotions for him, but also for me, because I can relate so much to the loss of a parent. And so anyways, we basically spent the next year I finished DIQ, replaced my income, and then over that whole next year of me being totally self-employed was, that health situation. And about a year after I had left my corporate job, so like that next January, February time, he ended up passing away. And shortly thereafter, about a year after that, his wife also passed away of bladder cancer. And so we just had basically 2.5 years to 3 years of like chemo and hard time, like that time where you're praying for someone and don't know how to help them and just struggle in our family and death and loss. And that was really the moment that Mary Kate showed me why God brought me into this business, because that was a time that when his dad passed away, I took a month off of work because I said, well, Mary Kay said faith, family, career. So I just trusted that and decided that's what I'm going to do is faith, family, career. So I'm going to go be with my family. And, that month, I'll tell you, before he passed away, we received a care package from the president of Mary Kay with a note, like a DVD for how to, like, help your family through illness and, like, all these different things. After he passed away, we received a phone call from the company saying, hey, that's where you need to be. Your business is designed to run on its own. Of course, we were flooded with cards, notes, letters from people we didn't even know. But it was most impactful to me that the corporate company knew my situation, knew my name, cared, and really did design this company to work through crisis. I'll never forget when somebody told me, always work when you can, so that when you can't work, your business works for you. And I'm so grateful that I did work when I could, because it was so worth it. And that month I remember not working at all, and Mary Kay still paying our family over $4,000 in commissions. And it sold me, because even when I was a director, I remember thinking, well, this is cool, and yay, I love how Mary Kay is, but, like, let's get real. They're in 37 countries. They probably don't know who I'm probably a number. That's how I felt. Like, well, yay, Mary Kay loves us, but let's realistically look at this, right? I'm a skeptic. And so it just was amazing to me that they really knew who I was. They really cared, and they have a heart for every single person. They really are passionate for helping you, the individual right here, empower yourself, change your life, and have opportunity. And that's when I said, I will build my life on this business with my family, because there's nothing else out there that would ever, ever, ever operate like that. My husband's job, I mean, by the way, he got like an award for perfect attendance at his job. Like, he never missed a day ever, because he's super like that. And so when that same situation happened, I mean, he didn't get a month off of work. Right? Like, no, they needed him. And so I'm just so grateful for how Mary Kay treats people, and that you really can have that life balance. So, if you've been telling yourself the lie that, like, well, I can't go after my dreams because I need to put this much time into it, and I'm not willing to put that time into it for my family. Well, let's really look at that. Like, how hard are you working for someone else that really at the end of the day doesn't care about what's going on with your family? How much are you a slave to that other job that really just wants you to make money for them? What if you chose to think about your business in that same way, and instead of saying, well, my family is the reason why I can't work my business, what if you say, they're the reason that I am choosing to find time for this business so that I can create lifelong security and freedom? That is what this business is all about. And if you choose, it's a choice. You can choose to use your business and your family as an excuse for why you can't work your business, or a reason why you can. And I am so thankful that I worked hard. And when I was in DIQ, I was tired. 60-hour work week, this DIQ, like, that takes time and energy, right? And a husband and dog babies. I mean, I remember being tired, exhausted, discouraged, and it was actually the same time of year. And I'll tell you, I was really motivated with the thought of not being the turkey, because I will tell you, I had not one friend that cared at all that I was a Mary Kay consultant. Like, my friends did not buy products from me. They did not hold parties for me. Like, my husband's family, every time, to this day, we still go over there and like, oh, how's that Mary Kay thing going? Like, they don't get it. And I remember having times in my bathroom, like, late at night. Got home from a party, 11:30 at night, I'm in there, like, washing my face, getting ready to go to bed because I'm exhausted because I have to get up the next morning and go to work. And just having those split moments of, like, is this worth it? Like, can I do it? The devil will get in your head. I remember having moments of, like, well, I could stop. I could just say, that it's too hard. And those moments where, when it would flash in my mind, all those people that were watching, that they didn't support what I was doing, but they were watching. And I was like, I will not let them say I told you so. So don't be the turkey, because that's what motivated me. It wasn't that I was motivated by the opportunity, but sometimes you need to be motivated by the negative motivation too, of, like, I don't want to be the turkey. I'm not going to let them say, I knew you couldn't do it. I'm not going to let them, like, say, oh, well, it doesn't work for anybody. Why don't you quit? And then you quit. And they're like, see, I heard Darren Hardy say, who's the publisher of Success Magazine, just the other day, I was going to the gym and I was listening to a thing from him, and he was talking about how one of the biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs make, which is you, if you're on this and you're in Mary Kay, you're an entrepreneur, one of the biggest mistakes that they make is they get a little bit of success and then they stop and settle right there because everyone around them acts like that success is a huge deal. And the reason why that is because as an entrepreneur, you're rising into the top 10% of our society. 80% of people that you're around are not ever going to challenge themselves in that way, and they're what are considered the mediocre 80% of society. And if you're doing anything more than them, which means more than punching a clock, more than mediocre, more than just, paying my bills, then they're going to think, wow, she made $100 this week with her Mary Kay business, or she's driving a free car with Mary Kay. That's amazing. And it is amazing. But guess what? That 80% does not really want to see you have a more amazing life than theirs is. So they're never going to encourage you or challenge you to really grow to what your ultimate potential is. So when you get that feeling of success, let that be a sign of, yay, I've had success, now let me go further, because that is where you will experience that ultimate freedom, that ultimate joy of the true success that you're capable of. And so anyways, that's just kind of a side thing. But anyways, fast forward, that's pretty much like my story. I became a director, and then, long story short, how did I go from that to pink Cadillacs, finishing a national area, and the trip, and everywhere that we are now? I will tell you personally that it is all about personal growth and work. And it was really when I decided to stop being afraid to go after the work and really focus on other people. That was when I had big success. The times that I didn't have big success, I can tell you my first 2 years in Mary Kay, I did as a director. First 2 years as a director, I drove a free car and all of that, but I didn't ever go on stage for anything at seminar. I didn't win any diamonds. Nothing amazing happened. And it was because those first 2 years I was looking around. I was like, what's she doing? Well, what's her idea? My husband always reflects and said that was the time in my business that I would be every month was a new idea and a new thing I was going to try, because I wasn't doing me. I was doing what everybody else did. And you will have massive success when you just do you. And so it was that time that I just stopped looking side to side, decided to trust my gut, and focus on what I knew Laurie Plyler could be great at. That's when everything started to grow. So I just want to encourage you to embrace that. I'm going to finish off just with touching on 3 tips for you guys today of things that can really set you free in your business. And just from my own personal reflection, number 1 tip is to manage your emotions. Manage your emotions. I think I mentioned that one of my biggest strengths in my business is bounce back ability. I don't get caught up in drama. I don't care about drama. And I focus on what really directly affects my life. And one thing that I was talking to somebody about recently that I feel like is so true. She was talking to me about Mary Kay, and we were talking about her business growing, and she was like, well, when you were moving up from consultant to Red Jacket to DIQ and so on, what was it that really helped you get there? And you were on your own doing share appointments and sharing the business opportunity. How did you get people on board when you hadn't really had the success yet? And I reflected back and I realized that the one thing that it was is that I, in my mind, was 100%, maybe even 150% sold out on this business opportunity. And not just sold out on the business opportunity, but sold out on what this business opportunity could be for me. Sometimes I think it can be very easy to be like, oh, well, my director's super successful, but I don't feel like I can, I don't have a car yet, or I don't have that paycheck yet. I don't have those diamond rings yet, so how can I get people to be excited to be on my team? Well, it's not about what Mary Kay can be for other people. It's about, do you believe that it can be that for you? And I remember even being a senior consultant in a red jacket, and I used to go to my parties, and I would be like, I'm earning my first free car right now, and I'm replacing my income. And I would talk about what was happening, when I was a director. For 2 years before my husband ever retired, I used to go to all my parties and be like, I'm retiring my husband because of Mary Kay. We're replacing his income right now and paying off a ton of debt. As we've been finishing this national area, I've been talking about we're one of the top groups in the entire country, and we're doing something that one in only 10,000 groups ever get to do, and you can be a part of it. So I'm talking about things before they've happened, not because I'm making it up, but because I truly believe that they're happening for me. And that's the difference is when you go to your parties, let's say you're a red jacket, you want to earn your car. It's not about being like, oh, my Mary Kay car is in the mail. It's coming to me right now. It's not about that. It's about, do you truly believe that the activity you're doing right now is creating that future for you? I remember sitting in my Dodge Neon at stoplights before, and I would literally sit at stoplights, and at the time, well, I guess the Equinox is black now too. So it was black then too. So I would sit there in my maroon car, and I would imagine that the hood was black. And I would just imagine that I was sitting in that car. And it just made me believe it. So are you 100% sold out on what this business can be for you? When you are, nothing will stop you. Any obstacle will fade away and become less and less scary because you truly believe that what you're doing when you pick up that phone is truly changing your life. So if you need help with that, definitely talk to your director. The second thing is to manage your time. Y'all, time is your most precious commodity. It is the one thing that we never get more of, and we don't know how much we're ever going to get. It is your most precious thing. So what are you really doing with your time? I had somebody say to me once, this was actually a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was working on earning the trip. I hadn't earned a trip yet. And it was the year that the trip was China. And I was talking to one of my friends that was earning the trip because she's awesome. And she was like, well, girl, there's no reason that you can't earn the trip. I mean, you don't have anything holding you back. And I mean, at the time, it was like, you don't have kids. Your husband is super supportive. You're a hard worker. There's no reason that you shouldn't earn the trip. And it was like a shift for me of realizing, like, oh, like if I just manage my time, there's nothing that should hold me back. And it's the same for you, whether you have 12 kids or you're single and working or whatever your life is, we all get the same amount of time. And that's it. So if you just choose to manage your time, I heard somebody once say that if it does not grow my relationship with my spouse / my family, my relationship with God, or my business, I don't do it. One thing that I did back in the day, and I still do this today in a different way, is I worked a weekly plan, which you may have heard in Mary Kay, we call that a weekly plan sheet. I keep my weekly plan sheet in my phone, like it's on my phone calendar now, but back in the day I used to write it on paper, and I literally would map out everything. Like everything. When am I booking my parties? When am I generating leads? When are my party times? When am I going to do sharing appointments? All of these things were mapped out onto my calendar, and so I knew exactly when things were happening. And then the best thing that you can do is just pretend that your weekly plan sheet is your boss. That's your boss. Because, like, think about it like this. If your regular job called you in and was like, hey, this week we need to do X, Y, and Z, like, you would find a way, you would fit it into your schedule because it's your job, and they told you, your boss called and said, this is what you're doing. So your weekly plan sheet is your Mary Kay boss. So they just called you and said, hey, this is what you're doing this week. And guess what? You would probably check in. You'd be on time. You would be productive because it's your job. So pretend in your mind that your weekly plan sheet is your boss and live by it. And I promise that will change so, so much. So many times we don't reach our goals and feel exhausted, not really because we're that busy, but because we're busy with all the things that don't move us anywhere. We're just treading water with all this busy work and all this reactionary work, things that don't actually move us forward in any way, and then, like, the day is over. And so it's all about being proactive and on purpose with your time. And the third tip is just to work hard and trust the process. I just feel like if you are willing to work your booty off for some other job, why not work your booty off for yourself? You know, hard work is not like a bad word or a bad phrase. I think that it's something we should be proud of. And entrepreneurs do work hard. You know why? Because they want more than the status quo. And if you want more than the status quo and you don't want to be mediocre and you don't want to be stuck in the middle, then it's probably going to take doing some things different than the status quo mediocre group does, right? So don't be afraid to work hard, because in Mary Kay, hard work always pays off. This business is not magical, it's mathematical. And if you embrace the numbers, let's say you don't do anything else, but you're like, my director said do 30 paces this month, or whatever the goal is. If you just put your head down and do that, you'll get the result. It's kind of like this. If you follow the process, that means, like, let's say you're going to bake a cake, and your director's like, okay, we're going to bake a cake. And she's like, I'm going to give you the ingredients. I'm going to give you the measurements. I'm going to give you the directions. If you follow it step by step, ingredients, measurements, directions, you're going to get a cake, an awesome cake, right? If you don't follow the directions, or you leave out some of the ingredients, or you don't do the measurements right, you're not going to get a cake, right? Your business is the same way. That's why we say it's like a formula. If you follow the plan, your director's going to give you the ingredients. the tools, the scripts, the process, the words to say. If you follow to a T, I promise you, you're going to get the cake that process result gives you. Like, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. If you continue the process that creates the results, you get the results. So anyways, that was some of the tips that really like set me free in my process with Mary Kay, but I hope that is helpful for you guys. I know that Megan mentioned, I guess, maybe questions and stuff, so you can text if you have any questions, or if there's anything you guys, Rebecca and Megan, you want me to elaborate on, but I didn't want to take more time than I was supposed to, so if you need anything else, let me know. I'm here.
Oh my goodness, Laurie. I have so many pages of notes. Like, I just love listening to you speak, and I love the passion that you speak with in your business. I know that you've worked a lot on just your process. And just from the background information I know, and you've worked with some coaching people too, just like I have worked with them. And I just love to see such growth, even from the first day I ever met you till now, like huge, huge. So I just wanted to affirm you in that regard, because I know you've worked really, really hard. But so many notes, like I don't even know where to start. I started like bullet pointing of things I wanted to say, but like my whole page, every page is bullet pointed. The craziest thing is that you were bribed with a lip gloss, going back to that, I was actually talking with one of my consultants earlier today, like, if you think this person's sharp, I'm not above bribery. Give them a lip gloss, give them a mascara, give them a satin lips, give them an eye makeup remover, give them whatever they want. Get them in front of you or get them in front of me, and, look at where you are. Look at where you are because of a lip gloss. Isn't that crazy? But you knew that God, had a bigger plan for you. And that's one of the things that I love about you the most too, is that you put your God first. You put God first, and it's such an empowering place to be, and it's such a scary place to be, because it's something that you can't see, but you can only feel. And sometimes we question, is it fear? Is it truth? Is it God? Is it the devil? Not quite sure, but trusting the process and working through the numbers, just like the recipe to bake a cake. Now I'm hungry, thanks. But, just trusting all of that. And I have to agree with you on how amazing this company is. I've had multiple things happen where, somebody had brain cancer and they sent them a gift, and so many different things, and somebody else's dad passed away and they got a personalized note. Like, you guys, this company is like none other, and we are not just numbers. We may say 1 in 10,000 get to build a national area, yes, but they know every single one of those 10,000, which is just, it's incredible. So Megan, I'm going to give you the floor so you can affirm Laurie too, and then if there's any questions, go ahead and ask them.
Okay, I agree. I started on the first page. I was like, okay, I'll mention this. Like, I really like this at the end, or this or this. And then now my page is like chaos. It's just so much chaos. But it's good, because there's a lot of things that I learned. I like that you said, if it doesn't grow your family, your relationship with God, or your faith, or your business, don't do it. Because I think so many times we get so caught up in pleasing others, especially if you're naturally a people pleaser, and I've told so-and-so I'd have lunch with her, and then I would do this and I would do this. But if it's not growing you as a person, or you're again surrounding yourself with people that are small-minded, it's not helping you in all of these avenues, which at the end of the day, those are the most important things, and that's why we run our business by that philosophy. Okay. Also, do you. I love that too. I have so many times where, myself included, but as well as my girls, who are comparing their success story to mine, or to someone else who's been successful. Well, I started off with this mindset, so does that mean that I will be successful in my business, this or that? And it's like, no, this is your journey. This is your race to run. This is your experience, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just whatever you feel comfortable with, and at the end of the day, that's going to help you succeed the most, because you're making it, your way, your style, and I only want one of me. I don't want another Megan. I don't want another Rebecca. You're awesome, but should only be one of every person, because you know what I'm saying, right? It's gonna, I guess, because I feel like I have so much to learn from other people too, that even women who are in my unit or whatever, we have things to learn from them too. They have things to contribute. And then let's see. even with like to your life obstacles, I loved hearing that, you had some hard things happen to you in your life, but that didn't sway you from your business. You treated it like a business, you respected it like a business, and it helped you when you needed it the most. You were able to scale back, and the business worked for you when you couldn't. I love that quote that you said. Okay, so I'll stop there. I do have a question that came in. So it says, numbers scare me, not reaching them and falling short. How can you simplify or make it less scary?
Ooh, that's such a good question. You guys can hear me, right? Okay, cool. Well, one thing that you may want to ask yourself, if that's your question, is, are you a perfectionist? Because sometimes when we hear a goal and then we're afraid to go after it, that can be rooted in perfectionism. And I find that can be one of the most exhausting things in our life, because it's like it's like, well, I'm not going to try to do 30 faces, because if I don't do 30, then I'm a failure, and so I'm not going to do it, but I know I should do it. And like, it freezes you over this wanting to create what is impossible, because it's impossible to be perfect. And so I heard one of my friends recently say, who's, by the way, an $800,000 director by the name of Jordan Twilley. And I know you guys heard from her recently, but she talked about sloppy success and embracing that it's okay that you can be massively successful without having to make every I be dotted and every T be crossed. One of my business coaches always talks about imperfect action beats perfect procrastination every single day. So what if, instead of not wanting to set a goal for how many faces you're going to do, what if you just set one that makes you feel like, yeah, that would be awesome, and then just embrace that even if you don't make it, you're still moving forward because you did 15 faces in the process of getting to 30. And another thing that can really help with that is set the goal, but then forget about the goal and just focus on the action. Because obsessing about your end goal, how many faces you want to complete, really isn't going to make anything happen. So what if you just pick a goal that you know is going to give you the result that you want in your business? Then it's like, pick it and forget about it. Like, forget about it. And then just focus on every day, how many booking calls am I making every single day in order to make that happen. So release the outcome and then make it attainable for what you're doing every day, and embrace imperfection.
I love it. Okay. Sloppy success.
I know. I love that. I didn't get another question in so far, but if we do get any more questions, then we'll definitely send them your way so we can have you answer them. This was amazing. Loved all of your tidbits and this is why I love hearing from other people, because I too have things to take away from it and things to learn. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I want to share one last thing. So I know that our consultants always talk about, like, I don't have your accolades, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. Laurie, you equipped every single consultant from 5 seconds of signing their beauty agreement ago to 5 years in business, because that's how long I've been in business, with the best accolade or thing that you could ever say. You're the top 10%. You're an entrepreneur. You're in the top 10% of our communities, of our people. Like, seriously, like, if you don't use that, you're insane. So I'm going to be using that from that point on. I'm in the top 10% of our country as an entrepreneur in my own business with Mary Kay. Like, what? So cool. So cool. So you just helped every single consultant in so many different ways, Laurie. We could not thank you enough. We're so excited to cheer you on and to watch you finish your national area. You'll have to let us know the second it's done, which I'm sure we'll know, and when it's Facebook appropriate for us to post about. But I'm so excited. Thank you again so much for your time. We're going to let you go, but don't leave just yet. We're going to take a quick picture. Okay?
Thank you, Laurie. Loved it.
Thank you guys for letting me be on. You guys are awesome, and I can't wait to give you big hugs in leadership in January.
Yay.